Since 2010, they've been bringing you the biggest beer news, the biggest beers, and the biggest beer brewers. The Friday Beer Buzz on WILK.
Good morning. It is 8:34 at WILK. No doubt about it. It's really weird doing this part without Webster.
Yes.
And now, the three-time winner of the Pennsylvania Association of Broadcasters Excellence in Broadcasting Award, the recipient of 2 Pennsylvania Associated Press Broadcasters Association Awards for Excellence. I think he's doing the home version right now. Promoting and advancing the craft and microbrew culture in Northeast PA. This is another edition of the Friday Beer Buzz. Lindo's like, oh yeah.
I'm sleeping still.
Still sleeping over there. But the Friday Beer Buzz powered by Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar in Exeter. The area's greatest selection of rare craft and imported beers, growlers and crowlers. There's 37 rotating drafts, I think at least, right? At Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar, Wyoming Avenue in Exeter. And also, my guest co-host today, we got with us former Lackawanna County Commissioner Bob Cordero, who cannot partake in this part. We'll make that very clear, right, Bob?
Well, you don't have to make it clear. It's what is.
It's what is.
We're making have me isolated in another room.
He's in a tiny, tiny little room because he's used to that. But with us, we have Lindo Sabatini from Sabatini's, as we were just talking about. So good morning.
Good morning.
And we also have Bill from mybeerbuzz with us. Hi, Bill.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
I realized last week after listening back, I'd listened back to last week's episode to make the little video that I made, that I'm on the Russian Sputnik satellite, so I'm on like a 5-second delay, so that when we all yell, it's the Friday Beer Buzz, I'm late. I'm the last one yelling, so
it's
this
great.
Week, I don't know if you noticed, I started early and I yelled quickly.
You started early, but you still were late. So how about that?
And I forgot.
But it was close. Yeah, Lindo was like, oh, wait a minute. But I'll also just want to mention Lindo. I was in on Wednesday night. We were doing coverage for the storm. So at 6 o'clock, we got a call from a gentleman who was driving in the horrendous snowstorm. And he was on his way to Sabatini's to pick up pizza on the way home. So
there we go.
So you were open while many other places were not. But honestly, though, it's been rough for all restaurants since Saturday with the whole change in what's going on. So hopefully people are getting out and supporting.
Yeah, 100%. It's been tough, the switch of trying to convince people to sit outside during a snowstorm. That's not an easy conversation.
No.
Yesterday we did have some troopers out there on the patio, though. So we got a couple people in, and that's it. I mean, the snow didn't help us either, but it is what it is.
How many people can you sit now?
Out on the patio, we're down. We had to keep the tables at 6 feet, so we have 6 tables out there right now. And with the heaters, Saturday and Sunday we had a surprisingly decent amount of people show up and have some fun and feel normal for a little bit.
Yeah. So everybody, please get out to Sabatini's. Support. This is so important right now. It's really tough for them. All right. Let's get to Bill with some beer news.
Yeah, so this week we have some good beer news and some bad beer news, and I always like to start out with the bad beer news, because by the time you get to the good beer news, most people have forgotten the bad beer news. So our bad beer news, our first one, Goose Island, Philadelphia, is closing its doors.
Oh, boy.
It is partially because of COVID-19. People just aren't out there, and a lot of these business plans were written prior to COVID. And they just aren't viable with no people in the building. If you can't sell pints, this is the way it goes with many breweries. If you can't sell pints, you can't survive. So Goose Island, Philly, we're sorry to see you go, but who knows what the future will bring. They're listing it as permanent. In that same vein, the Captain Pabst Pilot House Brewery is also closing permanently. And they're actually closing permanently on Sunday of this week. Same deal. COVID-19 has cut down their customer base, and that's you just can't survive like that.
Right. It's just too hard in an environment like this.
Selling kegs, they don't make a lot of money on a keg. They make a lot of money on a pint, and that's their business plan. Next up, in our final piece of bad beer news, I promise, Russian River. Famous for their, what is regarded as one of the best beers in the world, Pliny the Younger, their 2021 release will have no event. And if you've ever Googled Pliny the Younger and Russian River, you will see photos of lines around the block of people waiting to get Pliny the Younger.
Very
it was
big.
Previously, huge. It was previously a draft-only release because people started selling the bottles on the black market and on eBay, and Russian River didn't want that. So they've made it now no event, so there's no draft for the event, but they are going to release their odd-size 510 ml bottles. And if you're up there in Northern California, you'll be able to get the bottles. So don't panic.
Right.
Have
No
a daughter
panic.
out there. She can have it.
Let's switch gears to good beer news. Our good beer news is that Founders is coming out with a variant of their all-day IPA, and it's going to be called All Day Vacay, like vacation.
Right.
And it is a session wheat ale that hits 4.6% ABV and 20 IBU, which for a wheat ale, 20 IBU is pretty darn hoppy.
Yeah, sure.
Right up the Christmas alley here, and I don't think it's going to be available, Lindo may know, in time for Christmas, but Sierra Nevada is putting out a peanut butter cup Narwhal Imperial Stout variant that is aged in bourbon barrels, 16-ounce cans, and 12.7% ABV.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I don't know, as I asked if that was going to be available, so we'll see.
That's a TBA.
Along that same line, we'll mention it. Deschutes does a beer called The Abyss, and it was one of the very first imperial stouts that I ever encountered. And it's an odd imperial stout in that it uses Trappist yeast. Trappist yeast can impart some interesting flavors into any beer, especially an imperial stout. But this year it's going to be in 12-ounce bottled 4-packs at 11.7% ABV. So another good holiday beer to share with your friends and family.
Wonderful. And I had a text, Bill, so I wanted to ask this before we get to the beer today, from someone who said, if you could just quickly run down some of the really great gifting for the holidays beers, because, there's some people who know that they have a beer lover, but they're not really familiar themselves with what would be a great one to bring to a holiday gathering or as a gift. I mean, can you just run them off the top of your head?
Yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of good Christmas beers. The classics, depending upon whether you want to buy a big bottle or a small bottle, the classics are always Anchor Brewing, our Christmas ale, our special ale. We highlight that one just about every year with their brewmaster on the air. That's a really great one. A favorite of mine, St. Bernardus Christmas Ale. I always get it every year. I just love it. Mad Elf from Trogs. You cannot forget Mad Elf.
Right.
And Mad Elf makes a Grand Cru version in a big bottle. A beer we featured a few weeks ago, Rogue Santa's Private Reserve, also a great one. But the easy answer to all this, Nancy, is if you go down to Sabatini's, there's a section that's very near the front window, and if you've moved it, let me know, Linda, that has all of the glassware sets with Christmas beers, and you can buy a really cool set that they get a glass, and they get a couple bottles of beer, and that's to me is my favorite way to go.
Yeah, well, go ahead, Lindo. Tell us about those.
Yeah, we do still have that. We also have gift baskets right now, and if you are buying beer as a gift for somebody and you're not exactly sure what they drink, you can get either a basket or you can make a mix and match 6-pack, and we have people on the floor that'll come and help you, and you should say, listen, I want to get Christmas beers, I want to get stouts, I want to get IPAs, whatever it is, one of our guys could help you make up a 6-pack or a 12-pack or whatever you're looking for to make that for a gift. But I mean, for me, any beer will work. You want to give me a gift, any beer will work.
But go to Sabatini's, and they will help you out, as he said, with the gift baskets and other things. They know what they're talking about, so that'll help you out a lot.
And if you care what we think, you can go back and look at on mybeerbuzz.com. You can look at our video index of our Christmas shows, and you can see the Christmas beers that we have highlighted over the last 10 years. And I'll tell you up front, they are always some of the best Christmas beers, so you cannot go wrong.
Awesome.
The only unfortunate thing on this conversation about Christmas beers you should buy is Anchor is not in the market right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they brought in a very, very limited amount, and we sold out back before Thanksgiving, and you can't get it anywhere. So that's the one.
Gotcha.
If you're looking for a fantastic one, you're going to have to find that one in California.
Yeah, you're not going to. So get down to Sabatini's. They'll give you something just as good. All right, so what's today's beer we got going? This is really interesting.
Yeah, so today's beer is a cocktail-inspired beer, and it comes to us from Comstock, Michigan, from one of our favorite breweries, and a brewery that we actually featured last week as well. It comes to us from Bell's Brewery. And the beer, it's a holiday ale. It's called Old Fashioned Holiday Ale.
So the reason we picked this beer, sorry, Bill, the reason we picked this beer is Bill said, what's a good Christmas ale we haven't done? And that's the problem. I mean, we've done so many fantastic Christmas beers that this was one of the newest ones that I thought was interesting, had a cool story, so we picked this one.
Yeah, so the beer is a bourbon barrel-aged beer, and it has dried cherry and orange peel in it. And if that sounds familiar, its name should give it away. It's cocktail-inspired. It is named after the old-fashioned cocktail.
Yep.
And it is a 10.8% ABV beer. So it's perfect for, sipping by the fireplace. And Bell's even highlights the fact that you can cellar this beer, that this beer will remain good for years to come. So as always, Linda, we recommend grab a sixer for now and grab a sixer and sit it down until next Christmas and see what it tastes like next Christmas.
So what's cool about this beer, what drew me to it to make it as part of this is the beer for today, is the origination of this beer is it's based on their Christmas ale. So their regular Christmas ale is a 7.5% alcohol Scotch ale, and then they take it and they did exactly what Bill said. They added dried cherries, orange peel, put it in a bourbon barrel, and it turned into this. And when I first tasted it, I'm like, wow.
It's tasty.
I thought it was weird, honestly.
It was weird at first. I'm going, what is this?
And then as you taste it, I'm thinking, all right, if you keep thinking old-fashioned, it's exactly what it is. It's a barrel-aged version of a beer that tastes like an old-fashioned.
It does, because I'm remembering, like, as a kid trying to sip the drinks that my parents would have, and that's exactly what I thought of.
And this came out of their Roll Out the Barrel celebration. This was a variant that they did of their Christmas ale 2 or 3 years ago. And if you look at the old-fashioned cocktail itself, it has a sugar cube, it has bitters, it has traditionally bourbon, and a little bit of water. And that's right down the center lane for a beer. You can get bitters out of the hops. You can get sugar out of the sweetness of the malt, especially a malted beer like the original holiday ale. And bourbon, they get the bourbon out of the bourbon barrel aging. Say that 3 times fast.
Bourbon barrel aging, not easy. I said it one time, and that was enough.
We love Bell's Brewery. They originally Kalamazoo Brewing, founded by Larry Bell in 1983. He started actually selling beer in 1985. It was a homebrew supply mart for the longest time, and they are about 35 years old, and they were the oldest craft beer east of Boulder, and they still are. So we love Bell's Brewery.
And they're obviously available at Sabatini's, right, Lindo?
Of course.
Yeah, so get on down there. Now, again, for the holidays, if you have any, thoughts on bringing something to someone's house, maybe hopefully responsibly, everybody, but this is a great beer, but you've got the gift baskets that they can put together. This is our last show. I really missed doing the Christmas show this year.
I know. It takes us 3.5 hours to record a 1-hour show.
I know. Oh my God, and the fun, and then the mess that we have to clean up after. It's something else. But anyway, I wish you a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year there, Bill. We haven't seen you since what, March?
Oh, yeah, since the 500th show in March. And, yeah, same to you. Merry Christmas to you and yours. And Lindo, to you as well, and Bob, to you as well.
Merry Christmas to you, Bill.
And Merry Christmas, Lindo. Hopefully we'll get a lot of people out there, not just grabbing the beer, getting the pizza, supporting local business.
Thanks so much. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Lindo.
And we were drinking today Bell's Brewery Old Fashioned Ale, which you can get at Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar in Exeter, the area's greatest selection of rare craft and imported beers. And they have the heated outdoor seating, folks. Growlers and crowlers and 37 rotating drafts. Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar, Wyoming Avenue in Exeter. This is the Friday Beer Buzz, bringing good beers and good people together.